Hello everyone, welcome to Sunburned Albino plays Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc episode 17. We are here investigating the untimely, although probably very timely, death of Sakura, who was standing here. We've got some cloths, we got some broken whatever that is. We've got blood spatter, which apparently is you vomiting, as what the Monokuma file said. The Monokuma file said that the cause of death was blunt force trauma to the back of the head, but the victim was vomiting blood prior to the incident. And so, because of that, it seems she was poisoned. And because she was poisoned, there are only 3 suspects. That is Kyoko, Toko, and Hina herself. Because poison is a woman's weapon. And I don't say that to be sexist, I say that because statistically, 90% of poison-related killings are done by females. So, let's check some things out. What is this? This looks like some kind of wrapper. Ah, that's... Do you recognize it, Hina?
No.
Well, yeah, I mean, I gave it to her. That's a candy wrapper. Sakura got super upset when she found out Genocide Jack had attacked me, right? So after we left the nurse's office, I gave it to her. I thought it might help her calm down a little. So you gave that candy to Sakura. I found a big box of it in the warehouse. I really like them. Actually, as soon as we could get into the warehouse, I took the entire box back to my room. I made sure nobody else could get their hands on them. You really like them that much?
I mean...
But I wanted Sakura to get a chance to try one for herself. That's why I gave it to her. But now, they've lost all their flavor. Hina. Alright, polka dot candy wrapper. What is this? There are shards of glass scattered all around the chair Sakura was sitting on. The glass is all red and... These are the top and bottom sections of a bottle, right? So this must have originally been a bottle. Alright. Is that what was crashed over her head? Something else on the ground near the glass. It's a figure. It fits in the palm of my hand. It's a Monokuma figure. Interesting. Let's look at the blood over here. There's a blood stain in front of the magazine shelf. It must have come from Sakura, right? But that doesn't make sense. Why is it so far away from where she died? Oh, it was one of these bottles. There are 4 red bottles lined up on the shelf. And inside each bottle, there's some kind of Monokuma figure. What I'm wondering is, how'd they get those figures inside the bottles?
So...
It's no different from your standard ship in a bottle. Huh? You know, where the bottle's opening is smaller than the boat placed inside. You've never seen that? Oh, yeah, maybe I have.
In other words...
So this is the Monokuma version of that. A Monokuma bottle, if you will. I feel like I'm finally starting to make sense of things little by little. The Monokuma bottle's sitting on the shelf. The Monokuma figure we found on the ground. The red shards of glass, which probably started out as a bottle, which would mean Sakura must have been hit in the head with a Monokuma bottle, right? The shards of glass and the Monokuma figure are evidence of that, so I think it's safe to say that the Monokuma bottle was the weapon. Yep. That same shelf full of magazines. There's all different kinds of magazines here. Oh, we've got stuff over here, too. What? Oh, right, wasn't that... Didn't we break that window? There's some kind of plastic container rolling around near the entrance to the room.
So...
It looks like a protein drink, and it's empty. Sakura must have drank it. Everyone knows how much she loves her protein. And she mentioned more than once how protein was good for all sorts of ailments.
Wrong.
I wouldn't take that to heart if I were you. I know. But still, this protein can... It's got a label on it that says Chem A2. That reminds me, Sakura mentioned how the chem lab had all kinds of health stuff, so she must have gotten this from the chem lab.
Just a second.
But that's strange. Huh? What is it? You see what's scattered around the can? Shards of light blue glass. They must be parts of the window I broke to get inside.
Correct.
But they aren't just scattered around the can, they're also underneath it. Why does that matter? I can't say for sure yet, but you're probably going to want to take note of it. I feel like it'll become an important clue later on. An important clue? I'm not sure I see how. I think that that proves that it's the locked room scenario in which somebody was in here and then waited to just sort of like gather in behind everybody. Because we broke the window. And then the protein can gets moved on top of the glass? How does that happen? Alright, well, let's talk to Byakuya, I guess.
What?
What do you want? You're bothering me. Go away. He's not even trying to hide how much he despises me. I better go before he crushes my soul completely.
However...
But for Sakura to have been killed... Yeah, she's not the type who would go down without a fight.
It's true.
And she certainly didn't, I would say. She was the ultimate martial artist, strong in body, mind, and spirit. So how was the killer able to get the upper hand on her? I wonder, did someone get the upper hand? They must have taken her by surprise, right?
Certainly.
Certainly they would have needed to if they expected to stand any chance against her.
What the heck?
We already know who did it. Byakuya, Toko, or Hiro. It had to be one of them. They couldn't stand the sight of her. You agree with me, don't you, Makoto? Well, I don't want to say anything for sure without finding out more. Then let me help you find out more. You see, Sakura asked all three of them to meet with her. You know where? Right here in the rec room. What? After I went to the nurse's office this morning, Sakura and I both left together, right? Well, eventually she went off on her own. But when I saw her again after that, she told me. She said she'd left a note for each of them. She asked them to meet her in the rec room by noon. By noon? The Monokuma file said she died right around then. I'm telling you the truth. I heard it right from Sakura herself. And I tried to stop her. But she wouldn't listen. She said not to worry, that she just wanted to talk to them. And this is what happened. If I'd stopped her, by force even, this never would have happened. Hina, it's impossible not to have regrets, I know. But the fact that she had asked those three to meet with her, and she asked them to come to the rec room at noon, the same time and place she ended up dying, it might be good to confirm what I just heard with the three of them directly.
What?
What do you want? You're bothering me. There's something I'd like to talk to you about. Make it quick. Is it true that Sakura asked you to meet her in the rec room? So you found out. Interesting. Then it's true? I did receive a note to that effect, yes. But what fool would do what it said and risk being killed by that monster? So you didn't go see her? Of course not. I ripped the note to shreds and threw it away. I haven't seen Sakura today at all. Byakuya says he didn't go see her. Is that the truth? Well, until I can prove otherwise, I have no choice but to accept it as fact. If you're all finished, please remove yourself from my sight. Okay, thanks. Where's Yasuhiro? Oh, they must be outside. Yeah. Oh, what's going on in this locker? This locker used to be closed. Huh? The locker's open. And there on the inside, it's a handprint?
Why?
What's a handprint doing here? It looks like someone touched the inside of the locker, and it left a handprint in all the dust.
It's true.
And it looks quite fresh, too. I'd say someone was hiding here in the locker, and they left behind a little something extra. So then, maybe the killer hid in here until the locked room was open, don't you think? And during all the confusion, they popped out and joined the rest of the group. Unfortunately, that's not a possibility. Huh? Why not? Think back. Before we opened the door, we looked inside the room, right? Oh yeah, and the locker was already open at that point.
Indeed.
So there's no way someone could have hidden in there until after we opened the door. Yeah, so then, what does this handprint mean? Locker handprint has been added. That is curious. I don't even have a hypothesis for that at all. Let's see, we talked to everybody here, right? Well, now we have to, like, examine, right? Sakura drew her last breath sitting slumped forward in this chair. There's obvious evidence of the blow to the head Sakura suffered. Normally, I wouldn't have any problem believing that that's what killed her. But according to the Monokuma file, she had also vomited blood. And I can see a trace of blood on her lips for sure. So, what would have caused her to vomit blood? The Monokuma file specifically said she hadn't suffered any other injuries. Maybe you're getting hit on the head somehow caused her to start vomiting blood? Not a chance. Byakuya.
That's fine.
However, your eyes have landed on a most interesting location. Interesting?
Naturally.
Yes, most interesting. Don't you agree? No, I don't think I'd call it interesting. But it does make me wonder. The reason Sakura vomited blood absolutely has to be connected to why she died. Alright, well, we've looked at everything. I need to examine the crime. What is oh, the door? This door is the only way in or out of the rec room. The door doesn't have a lock, and there's no evidence that the mountings have been tampered with. The only noticeable change to the door is the smashed window, which happened, of course, when I broke it to get inside. There's no evidence that any kind of string or mechanism was used on the door. In other words, I don't see anything suspicious about the door itself. And this is the chair that was in front of it. The chair was shoved up against the doorknob, so we couldn't get the door open. There's no evidence that any kind of string or mechanism was used on the chair. In other words, there's no reason to think the chair had anything special done to it. Having examined both the door and the chair, there's no doubt the reason the door didn't open was simply because the chair was shoved up against it. This kept the doorknob from turning, and the door from opening. And there was no evidence of the door or chair being tampered with or anything like that. So the killer must have created the locked door from the inside, not from the outside.
Listen.
Well, Makoto, have you finished with your general investigation? Yeah, I think so, for the most part.
So then.
Then you should probably go talk with people now. I'm on guard duty, so I can't leave.
Listen to me.
Which is why I've decided you'll go in my place. She's decided? She's gotten a lot more pushy since we had our issue. But she's right. I do have to go talk to the others. Sakura wanted to meet with 2 other people. I need to hear what they have to say. Yeah, I'm trying to leave now. Alright. Those other 2 probably went back to their rooms. Okay, let's talk to... Man, everybody in these rooms is dead already. Junko, talk to Toko first, I guess. I press the doorbell. And after a few seconds...
Who's there?
Oh, okay, you do it. The most negative aura I've ever felt. An aura of total decay.
What do you want?
So you're back to normal. Genocide Jack isn't around anymore.
Don't even say her name. It makes me sick to my stomach. I was in such a good mood, too.
She didn't look like she was in a good
Hey,
mood.
I was hoping to talk to you about something. Is now a bad time?
Obviously annoyed, Toko slithered out into the hall.
What do you want?
What do you want? You said you wanted to talk to me about something? I wanted to talk about the fact that Sakura had asked to meet with you. I don't know what you're talking about. Byakuya already told me she had asked to meet with him. What? She wanted to meet with Master too? I just said two, didn't I? I guess now it's totally obvious, huh? Yeah, pretty much. So, can you tell me about it? I admit I did get the note, but I didn't go see her. I was scared, so I couldn't bring myself to go. Toko claims she didn't go see her, but can I really believe her? Well, until I can prove otherwise, I have no choice but to accept it as fact. Is that good enough? Then I'm going back to my room. With that, Toko quickly retreated into her room. We've got a lot of different people's accounts here. It's gonna be tough to discern between all of them. Leon Yasuhiro. I pressed the doorbell. And after a few seconds...
No?
What's up, Makoto? Did you need something? Yeah, actually, I just wanted to check something. It's about how Sakura wanted to meet with you. How'd you know about that?
Could it be
Ugh, did you maybe gaze into my soul? Have your special abilities awakened in you? But I'm not the only one she wanted to meet with. Ogre told me herself that she asked Byakuya and Toko to come too. What? When did Sakura tell you that? Oh, well, when she asked me to meet with her, of course. But didn't she write you a note? Yeah, a note.
How about that?
She gave it to me in person, and she happened to mention the others, like, in passing. I gotta be honest, this is super suspicious. So then you went and met with Sakura?
You got it all wrong.
No way, I totally didn't. Why would I ever do that? Yeah, definitely suspicious.
Actually,
The last time I saw Ogre was when Hina got hurt and I took her to the nurse's office.
don't look at
I
me.
haven't seen her since then. While I'm here, could you show me the note she gave you? Do I still have it? Let's see. Hiro's feeling around in his pockets.
Hey, come on.
Ah, sorry. Looks like I don't have it anymore. With a big goofy smile on his face, he pulled his hands back out of his pockets. But when he did, I saw something flutter to the ground. Something had fallen out of Hiro's pocket. Huh? Quick as the wind, Hiro snatched it back up again and shoved it back into his pocket.
Hey, come on.
Sorry, just a bit of trash I forgot to throw out. Trash?
What?
Anyway, I can't deny that Ogre asked to meet with me, but I never went. So, well, if you'll excuse me. Before waiting for a reply, Hiro quickly slipped back into his room. Hiro said that was just trash, but there's no way that's all there was to it. Yeah, it's the same wrapper as the candy that Aoi said she was the only one who had it. Okay, so I've heard from Toko and Hiro. What next? Definitely have to look at the actual crime scene again, but on top of that, maybe I should find out more about the protein can we found on the floor of the rec room. Must have come from the chem lab. Okay, let's teleport there because I'm not walking up 4 flights of stairs. Chem lab is this way. And Gakuya's already here. Makoto, did you have your eye on the chem lab too? Just make sure you don't get in my way. Yeah, I got it. I think what you meant to say was, yes sir, I understand. What the fuck? This isn't my first time seeing the shelf, but I just can't get over how big it is. I should probably take a closer look at it. It looks like 3 shelves have been connected together to make one giant shelf. But more important right now, what's that powder that's been spilled in front of the shelf? I have to be careful not to step in it. There's a bunch of yellow powder scattered on the floor. I'd better not leave a footprint. Someone else did. These are footprints? And they're only in front of the left shelf. How do these footprints relate to the scene as a whole? We may need to sketch out the floor plan. By we, do you mean me? How kind of you to offer. With an insufferable smirk, he handed me a piece of paper and a pen.
What?
Well, let's go. Chop chop. Okay. So I got to work, and before long I'd drawn up a sketch of the room. So how's this? Not bad. For you, I mean. For me?
See.
So when you look at it like this, interesting. It would appear that whoever left these footprints only had business at the leftmost shelf. They came in, went straight to that shelf, did whatever they had to do, and then left. That's what the footprints tell me.
I see.
These footprints must be...
Certainly possible.
Makoto, are they yours? No!
What?
Okay, then let me see your shoes and I'll confirm their size for myself. I couldn't think of a reason not to, so I quietly did what Byakuya said. I see. Your feet do appear to be too big. Unfortunately, I must admit these are not your footprints. Unfortunately? But with how clear these prints are, it should be quite easy to determine who they do belong to. And these prints are a really valuable clue. Then they're either Toko or Aoi's prints. If my feet are too big, girls have smaller feet, so... And my feet are definitely not bigger than Sakura's, so it wasn't Sakura herself. Let's look at this bottle. There's a broken bottle in front of the shelf. Is this where all the powder came from? It looks like the bottle had a label on it, Chem C4. Would you like to hear something interesting? I was on the 4th floor this morning checking things out, and at that point, this room wasn't like this. Then this powder must have been
So
spilled.
in other words...
That's right. It could only have been around the time of the incident. If that really is when it happened, it must be related to the case somehow. I should probably take a good hard look at that powder. There's a bunch of yellow powder scattered on the floor in front of the shelf. There's also the remains of a broken bottle. It looks like the bottle was labeled Chem C4. Also, it looks like someone left some footprints in the powder. Based on the positioning of the prints, whoever it was only went to the left side of the shelf. According to Byakuya, the powder would have had to have been spilled right around the time of the incident. That's all I can tell for now. Yeah, but if the chem is labeled C4, then it probably came out of this right shelf. I guess, you know. Who would walk in the powder, though? Is it like who's that I don't understand. On this shelf is one look and I can tell it's nothing but dangerous chemicals. These look like poisons and other powerful chemicals. All the containers on this shelf are labeled with the letter C and a number, so I guess I consider this part of the shelving unit Section C. That sentence was a mess, but alright. So, on this shelf it looks like a bunch of chemicals that I have no idea what they are. They're reagents, excuse me. Put simply, they're used in experiments to bring about a chemical reaction. How have you lived in such ignorance for so long? It must truly be bliss. Isn't that kinda harsh? What, you think studying science and mathematics has no practical application in the real world?
Fine.
The words of a lifelong loser, which I suppose suits you well. I didn't even say that. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Right now I need to focus on the shelf. All the containers on this shelf are labeled with the letter B and a number. So I guess I can consider this part of the shelving unit Section B. Much better, much more said it better. I don't see anything out of the ordinary here. In which case, I don't think I have to worry too much about this shelf. Let's see, what's on this shelf? There are all kinds of dietary supplements and different medicines. The protein drink we found in the rec room probably came from this shelf. All the containers on this shelf are labeled with the letter A and a number. So I guess I can consider this part of the shelving unit Section A. Huh? But wait! There's one bottle here that's labeled Chem C9. Could someone have put it here on accident? I should try to find out more about this shelving unit. It looks like it's split into 3 sections. Section A has dietary supplements, Section B has reagents, and Section C has lethal chemicals. Sakura must have gotten the protein powder from Section A. But what concerns me is that in Section A, there was a bottle with a label from Section C. What was a bottle of poison from Section C doing in Section A? There's definitely something going on there. I've already taken a good look at the chem lab. Maybe I should take another look around the rec room. But wait, was there anything in here that had Chem A on it? No. Alright then. Yeah, I guess we'll back out of that. Those are the only things. So we'll leave the area. We gotta go back to the rec room on the 3rd floor. Which is close enough that I'll just walk to it. Alright. Rec room is over this way. I might have to end the episode before the trial starts. If it starts, like, after the next 10 minutes. Just because then we can split it up into 2 equal parts that won't be, like, an hour and a half long. So I feel like that would be acceptable to do. Plus, it works better as, like, a beginner and end of stuff. So, Makoto, how's your investigation going? I told Kyoko what Toko and Hiro had told me. I see. So along with Byakuya, they're both claiming they didn't go see her. But it's all too convenient. Someone must be lying. Someone's lying.
Anyway.
Well, I've made some progress of my own. Sakura's body, the shelf of magazines, and the Monokuma bottles. These 3 things have revealed new clues. You'd do well to look them over one more time. Okay. The magazines. Kyoko said the magazine shelf was hiding a clue of some kind. Clue. Huh? This magazine is upside down. Did someone put it back that way on accident?
Hey,
If something catches your eye, it's important for you to explore that in detail, don't you think? Yeah, you're right. I picked up the inverted magazine and flipped through it. This is... On one of the pages, near the center of the magazine, a word had been written in bold, bloody letters, and it said, Toko. Could this be a dying message?
correct.
Then it would appear you found it. Kyoko, is this...
So,
It is indeed a dying message. Someone used their finger to write it. A dying message.
however,
But just to be clear, I'm not the one who put it back upside down. It was already like that when I found it a little while ago. I made sure to put it back exactly as I found it, for the benefit of others who might come looking. Hey, is that? That says Toko, right? Yeah, it looks like it. Then she's the killer, right? Well, it hasn't been confirmed yet. It's settled. She's the killer for sure. That's conclusive evidence, right? We can use it to corner the killer. I can see why you would think that, but it just seems too easy. If anything, it makes me that much more suspicious. This seems like another crime scene where Byakuya is gonna have, like, meddled around in it. I think Kyoko said she'd found a new clue involving the Monokuma bottles. Something new, something new. Yeah, there's more than one missing. We've got the pawn, we've got the rook, we have the bishop, and we have the king. The knight one is the one that was cracked on the ground, but there's another bottle that has the queen in it that's missing.
hey,
So, did you figure it out? There's a hidden correlation between all the bottles. Pay careful attention and you're sure to find it. A correlation. Hey Kyoko, can't you just tell me what it is?
so,
I don't mind guiding you toward clues, but giving you my conclusion isn't a good idea. Each person needs to come to their own conclusions so that everyone can have confidence in the outcome. And it's not just because you don't trust me, right? No answer? I do trust you, to a degree. Otherwise, I wouldn't have told you anything to begin with. Only to a degree?
hey,
Actually, there's one other thing about the Monokuma bottles that's bothering me. I'd like to do an experiment to confirm it. You don't mind helping me, right? An experiment?
anyway,
Can you gather up all the pieces of the broken Monokuma bottle? Try to get the smaller pieces, too. Huh? Are you sure it's okay to mess with the crime scene like that?
that doesn't matter.
I've already done a thorough investigation, so it's fine. And that obnoxious Byakuya's not here, so...
then.
Anyway, I need to get something from the chem lab. While I'm gone, try to gather up all the glass. With that, Kyoko left the room. I really don't know what this is about, but what choice do I have? I better just do it. I took the broom and dustpan and got to work collecting all the broken bottle pieces. And just as I finished up... Sorry to keep you waiting.
So then,
Is everything ready? Then let's get to work. So, what kind of experiment are we doing?
in other words,
I got a scale from the chem lab. We're going to use it to compare weights. Compare the weights of what? The pieces of glass you collected, and one of the Monokuma bottles that's still intact, excuse me. Why do you want to do that? That's the point of the experiment. It'll make sense when we're done.
listen,
First, let's compare the weight of 2 of the normal Monokuma bottles. It's balanced,
in other words,
which means each Monokuma bottle weighs about the same, which makes sense. The Monokuma figures inside are basically the same, and nothing else could really affect the
so
weight.
then,
Now, here comes the important part. Put all the pieces you picked up on one side of the scale. Now, what might we expect to see? Well, a normal assumption would be either they'll balance out or the pieces I collected will be lighter. I did my best to get them all, but there's a chance I could have missed some
So
here and
then-
there. Okay, then let's give it a try. Huh? The broken pieces are heavier? How is that possible?
I knew it.
Just as I thought.
In
What?
other words,
The results of our experiment and the correlation between each of the bottles. Put it all
Hey.
together, and I believe you will arrive at one very persuasive conclusion. So what do you think? It's all on you. Monokuma bottle experiment has been added to the truth bullet section of your handbook. Nope, I have come to no conclusion regarding that whatsoever, unfortunately. The locker's open and there on the inside it's a handprint. What's a handprint doing here? It looks like someone touched the inside of the locker and it left a handprint in all the dust.
It's true.
And it looks quite fresh, too. Most likely someone was hiding here in the locker. Oh, okay, you already did that. Yeah, it was right there. What was the other thing you told me to something? I was supposed to check this again. There's some kind of plastic container rolling around near the entrance to the room. It looks like a protein drink, and it's empty. It's a protein, still it's got a label on it that says Chem A2.
Hey,
Yeah, okay, you already, yeah.
in other words,
The results of our experiment, put it all together. So what do you think? It's all on you. Experiment showed, yeah, we got it. And the bottles. There's apparently an important secret hidden there. We have to examine you again? According to Kyoko, there's still something to be discovered from Sakura's body.
just a second.
Just staring off into space isn't going to help you figure anything out. Well, yeah, I know, but
Hey,
don't you think you might need to actually examine the body?
whew,
There's no getting around it. Unlike me, Kyoko didn't recoil at the thought of touching a dead body. She was completely unemotional. It's the kind of thing I've grown perversely used to. Although, there are still some times. I can't believe how calm you are. No matter how many times I see a dead body, I can't get used to it.
it's true.
That's totally normal. Then how can you?
So,
I imagine it's because I've had plenty of opportunities to touch dead bodies in the past. What? Sorry, never mind.
hey,
More importantly, look here. Her shoes? You see that yellow powder on her instep? Yeah, it really stands out.
I see.
That powder is clue number 1. So she stepped in the powder. What? How are her feet smaller than mine?
Hey,
Next is the wound to her head. Look carefully.
it's true.
Actually, even telling you that, it's incredibly difficult to spot. So let me just explain.
It would seem...
It would appear that she didn't suffer a single blow, but instead received 2 blows to the head. 2 blows?
Indeed.
Interesting, wouldn't you say? And there's one more interesting thing.
Correct.
Both of her hands were spotless. There's absolutely no trace of blood on either
It's
one.
true.
So that's what I learned from examining her body in detail. So yeah, the queen bottle is missing. I can't believe she was able to learn all that just by looking at her body. I don't think anyone but Kyoko could have pulled that off.
Whoops! You caught me sleeping. Your investigation was just so boring I couldn't stay awake. Should I do it? Is it okay? Can I? Okay, then let's begin the class trial. You know where to meet, right? Please go through the red door on the first floor of the school. See you soon.
It's already time? But the mystery of the locked room is still only half solved. At this point, whatever happens will have to happen at the class trial. No, not whatever happens. I have to make something happen. Okay, that's gonna do it for this episode. I know it's short, but the next 2 episodes will be all about the class trial, and hopefully they'll be a little shorter. Like 45 minutes each would be great. So that's gonna do it for this. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe and whatnot, and I'll see you guys next time.